Hey dreamers, I get asked about my reinvestment strategy, what I do, and if it's smart to be reinvesting in this market. So today I'll talk about my point of view on the topic and exactly what I'm doing. And at the end, I'll give you an incredible example of dividend reinvestment that you will not want to miss. My goal of this channel is to keep concepts simple so that investing is attainable for all. So, first, let's level set what DRIP is and how to manage it. DRIP is Dividend Reinvestment Plan, and it's where you actually buy more shares of stock when it pays the dividend automatically instead of taking it as cash. Let me show you where you can set that up as an example in Fidelity. So in Fidelity, in your positions page, there's a place at the top that says Manage Dividends. But there's also this page that explains how to manage your dividends and capital gains distributions and exactly what you need to do. If you click on this page, it takes you to the same page as the Manage Dividends page. And this is where you can go through your list of stocks and make an update whether you want to deposit into core or reinvest back into the security automatically. Deposit to core means that when a dividend is paid, it comes into your account as cash. So if you have this set up, your stock position will grow every quarter after a dividend payout, which means that the following quarter an even bigger dividend payout occurs, since the quantity of shares is bigger. That's the snowball effect, and if you want to see one example of my snowball calculated out, you can check out my video on the subject. Now, when I started my dividend investing journey, my stock positions or quantity of shares was small. The dividends were paying out a few cents or a few dollars, so I started with 100% DRIP turned on because I was trying to build up positions in a small portfolio. In addition, since this was early in my career, I was very busy. When you don't have a lot of time, I feel like it's a good idea to have dividends reinvesting and growing automatically instead of sitting in your account in cash. The last thing you want is to log back in after 6 months and realize you've missed 2 quarters of compounding. So fast forward to now, and as you know, I have quite a substantial portfolio. So my reinvestment DRIP strategy is a bit of a hybrid. I decided to turn off DRIP in a few different scenarios. One is to start to control big positions that have become a large percentage of my portfolio. So for things like AT&T, IBM, MO, and BTI, I've turned off DRIP and used those cash cows to mostly cash flow into other stocks. Which brings me to my next point. In smooth markets, where there's not a lot of unique opportunities, it could make sense to just DRIP everything. But this market has been very volatile, and we will continue to feel reverberations as the result of the COVID disruption for several more quarters at least. So in choppy markets, I like to have a constant flow of new cash at the ready while I look for unique opportunities in the market. And as you've seen recently, there's been wild swings in companies like AT&T and Altria as investors' appetite for risk dwindles and they get spooked easily. And that can produce short-term buying opportunities. In contrast, for growth stocks like Microsoft, I just let them drip into themselves. The only other times I turn off DRIP is if I start to get concerned about a position. So I might take a pause on reinvestment while I do some research. Or sometimes if a stock price has become way too high, I might pause DRIP for a short time while I monitor. This happened to IIPR when the stock was getting too high for my liking. So I turned off DRIP for a while. And now that it's come back down to earth, as many REITs have, I may turn it back on. But in general, I typically don't monkey around with my DRIP settings very often, because if you pick great companies and simply let them grow over a long-term hold, letting them compound is where the magic happens. And especially letting them reinvest in down markets or bear markets like we have right now is really where the magic happens. Because remember, the stock price is down, so every dividend purchases a larger amount of shares, which in turn pays a larger dividend the next time. One thing to note tactically is that in some investment brokerages, it can take a few weeks for a reinvestment change to take effect. I know this is the case with Fidelity, so it's not like you want to be playing around with these settings each week or each month. It's more of a review every 6 months to a year on what your strategy should be. The last reason to turn off DRIP would be lifestyle. As you know, I've recently been taking cash to live off of, which I covered in my confessions video. And so, ultimately, and hopefully, we will all be taking 100% cash with the DRIP turned off at the end of our journey. This is where you can have total control of either spending the cash or doing what you like with it. Also in retirement, conceptually, you'll have more time to make decisions on what you want to do next with your money. So overall, my point of view on reinvestment strategy is don't overthink it. Take a look at your portfolio and decide if you want to rebalance a little away from large positions. If you want to have cash on hand to control the next investment decision, or if you want to automate your investments because you have a small portfolio or a really busy lifestyle and you don't want to miss out on the compounding over time. There's really no one right or wrong answer. Make a decision and then see how it works for you. And if it doesn't work, change it down the road. It's really easy to do. Okay, I promised to tell you about an incredible example of dividend reinvestment. I was listening to a podcast the other day, Motley Fool Money, and they were talking about the fact that if you had bought one share of Coca-Cola back in 1919 when it IPO'd at $40 a share, and assuming all splits and dividends were reinvested until today, that one share would be generating over $600,000 in dividend annual income today. That's just astounding, and hopefully gives you more food for thought, or maybe food and drink for thought. See what I did there? All right, guys. Thanks for spending time with me today. As always, I encourage you to do your own research, then implement and learn by putting it into practice. And as a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, so keep in mind these videos are for entertainment and inspiration only. I'll see you on the flip side.